And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're taking a look at Ark the card game. There's actually 5 different decks that you can get for Ark the card game. We have the Purist, the Engineer, the Mercenary, the Politician, and the Cyborg. Now Ark is a time-traveling game. Woo! Now that's always exciting. Your character is going through time and doing different events and fighting other people. Ark is a game where you are specifically going after the other person. The box doesn't really say a lot about Ark. If I read this, I don't know. It just says countless scenarios and endless games and all that. Well, what this is very similar to is a collectible card game. Now, this is not technically a collectible card game because when you buy these decks, you get exactly what you want, although there are ways to mix some of the cards from deck to deck, and then you are going head-to-head against someone else's deck. So keep that in mind, and here we go. Okay, I am not a big fan of complicated rule sets, but what I don't like is this is nice. It shows you how the game should be set. I love that. And then this explains, this is a poorly done rule set because what it does is it says, this is how you play, and this is what this happens, and they have all these little boxes around here, and there's really no rhyme or reason, and it really goes into as little detail as possible. And it says, go to the website. So I went to the website, and it was the same rule set. Okay, well maybe they'll add a new rule set. Maybe there's even one there now. But be that as it may, let's look here. Each person starts with an Aeon. So here's 2 of the examples of the 5 decks. We have the Politician and we have the Human Engineer. Each of these does a certain amount of damage. They each do 1 damage when they attack their opponent, and they each have a certain number of hit points, 19 and 23. There are 2 ways to defeat your opponent. One is to make them go through their entire deck of cards, and the other is to get their life down. Now, how do you keep track of their life? Well, it's just like Magic the Gathering. You got to figure out how to do it on your own. Use counters, a 20-sided die, or something. Each character also comes with a deck of cards, and you can customize your own deck, and we're not going to get into that here, but each one has their own deck of cards. You always have a future and a past. Those are always in all the decks. And then each person has one other time period. For example, here we have the Nano Age and the Age of Tyranny. The Age of Tyranny comes with the Politician, and the Nano Age comes with the Engineer. And you put those in between. So you have 4, past, present, and then your 2 customized ones. These have text on them. It's the same text on both sides. So for example here, it says, at the end of your turn, you gain 2 health if you're in the future, and if you're in the past, at the beginning of your turn, draw a card. So I guess it's good to start in the past and go to the future. But you also have a deck of cards, and you'll be drawing cards from this deck, and you'll have a hand of cards. Now, each card that you have has a cost to play that card. Now, this cost is equal to the number of cards you have in your hand plus the bonus that your Aeon gives you. So let's say I have this Politician in play here, so that's 2, and if I have 4 cards in my hand, I can't play Eminent Domain. Unless, of course, I go play the Tasty Mitchell version. But anyhow, I can't play that card until I get another card in my hand. I can play the Mechanical Limbs, though, although you'll notice if I play this one and then this one, I only have 4 left. I could play this one, but if I had a 4th one, I wouldn't be able to because I only have 1 card plus the 2 on my Aeon. Now, the different kinds of cards that you have, what you're going to do is you have your guy, he will be moving back and forth from different areas, and if he's in the same area as somebody else, he might be able to attack them. Each of your Aeons has 4 special abilities, and you can use any 2 of these, 2 different ones. So I can use 7 if I have that enough energy to do that, to gain 2 health. I can use 2 to move him to another spot, rift to an alternate era, whatever. I can use 5 to attack another Aeon in the same era, which will do 1 damage. Or I can use 3 to draw a card. You notice it says exhaust, which is this game's terminology for tap, but he's exhausted twice. I guess it's just the way that you remember that you've used your 2 different things. Now you have different kinds of cards that are in the game. You have events. Events that say present are played right where you are, and timeless means they can be played anywhere. And like, for example, if you play Deception here, Deception does 2 damage to the target Aeon. So let's take a look at some of the cards that are in a typical deck. So this is a trap. A trap is placed face down at a location, and you can activate it as long as you have enough energy to activate it when someone else goes there or when something happens at that spot. Where can you put the trap? Well, here it says present, so you can put it wherever your location is. Armaments are special things that you can put in front of you. You can only have so many armaments in play. You can have 2 of the same. You can only have 3 armaments in play, and you can have as many what they're called trinkets. But this here, you have +2 power. So every time I attack someone, I hit them for 3 now, because I'm a wimp. But with my bodyguards, I do better. There's an event. Now, on the side of this event, there's a -1. Some of these cards, when you play them, make you lose cards, and other ones will make you gain cards. For example, here's one that if I play this reactive armor, which, as you can see, is very expensive to play, but I can exhaust it to prevent a damage and do a damage to my opponent. But when I play this card, I get to draw a card. So this is usually 0, +1, maybe +2, maybe -1. Some of these cards have light speed 1 on them. That means you can basically play that as an interrupt before someone else, and there's 2 different kinds of light speeds, and the one is faster than the other in case there's an argument over timing. So you can put down traps, you can put down events, you can put down relics. That's just like putting a trap. You can put that in a specific era, but it will help you. For example, here you can draw a card and then discard a card, or you can draw a card and then lose 2 health. You know, you decide which of those is better. And so you're going to keep doing this. You're going to be drawing from your deck. Each deck has lots of cards in that have icons that match your hero, but there's also cards like this where you can just destroy a target trinket, which can be very useful because your opponent might get a trinket into play that can be very annoying. Armaments especially, you want to make sure. To me, it seems like this game has some cards that absolutely must be in play. This +2 power bodyguards card is a really great card. That reactive armor I showed you earlier is a really great card, and you want to be able to destroy those if possible. Traps, you don't know what a trap's going to do, but you do know where the trap is going to be. And then events. So basically, you're playing events on the other person. You're moving, well, you're doing 2 actions with your Aeon, and then you might set up some armaments and trinkets and events, and some relics to do damage. As I said again, the gameplay is very simple. The first person to knock their opponent down out of health or to make them lose all their cards is the winner. Now, I love time travel, but I gotta be frank, I'm not really feeling time travel from this. Now, this is beyond whether I like the game or not. What I'm talking about here are when you move people around from time to time. Okay, time travel should have something that makes you feel like you're doing time travel. But in this game, it just feels like I'm going from one location to another. If they took time travel completely out of the game and called these locations the Baron's Secret Base of Doom and headquarters of the evil 456 and all different odd things, then it would have felt exactly the same. Nowhere did I feel like, ooh, I'm going to the past. No. So that's unfortunate because that would have probably made me enjoy the game more. Another problem I had with the game was I did not feel like the different people felt that different. I think that made sense. But what I mean is, here I have the engineer and here I have the purist. And when I played as the engineer or when I played as the purist, I didn't feel like, ooh, this is a very different play style. Now, there's small differences to play style, but mostly it works like this. Hey, there's your person. Boom, 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 right in the face. That's it, got you. Set up traps, do this. And there was other minor things, and I think that the special locations that they put out differentiated them, but that kind of differentiated the game more so than the actual player itself. Using cards in your hand as a resource is a good idea, and I applaud them for that. I like the traps that you lay, although it would have been more interesting if you could have laid a trap maybe without letting the other person know that, hey, there's a trap here. Admiral Akbar would love this game. But the fact is that all that being said and done, gameplay itself is interesting. It does seem like whoever gets the best combo of cards out is going to win first. It doesn't feel like time traveling at all. The decks don't feel that different. But when that's all said and done, I didn't dislike it. It was a decent game, going back and forth, playing my deck against your deck. I would never deck build, even though it's a possibility. I don't think I'll ever go any deeper than what we have here. But I wasn't displeased by it. That's not really a ringing endorsement of the game, but like I said, there was some neat aspects to it. I just think it could have gone farther.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.